Welcome back to a windy day out here. We finally have some good news for you guys coming out of the Department of Justice as well as the ATF. For those of you guys who follow me on social media, you guys have already seen this. A press release was dropped last night, but I thought doing a video on it was the right thing to do because I have done videos on the inaction that we have seen from the Department of Justice and several different agencies. So when they do the right thing, we got to do a video on that too. And this is a step in the right direction. However, of course, we still have a long way to go. What did they do? Well, they eliminated the Biden-era zero tolerance policy for FFLs. So for those of you guys who are not aware, the Biden administration put in a zero tolerance policy. They actually did it in writing, which was kind of weird, but they did. And the revocation of FFLs went up dramatically during the Biden years. That's bad, obviously, for a few reasons. Number one, it's bad because if you live in an area that doesn't have a lot of FFLs, as many people do, if that FFL gets their license revoked, then you don't have the ability to easily practice the Second Amendment by picking up new firearms that would be transferred through the FFL. Additionally, the other bad part about that is that most FFLs keep their records on premise, if that makes sense. They don't store them in the cloud, the vast majority. And because of that, when their license is revoked, the ATF seizes those records and then adds them to their illegal, unconstitutional database of firearms that they say they don't have, but we all know they do have. So it's kind of a double whammy in terms of why it's bad. And obviously, they're reversing the rule today. As far as I know, it's not actually in effect yet because my understanding anyway, I could be wrong on that, is that when a rule is revoked, it has to go through the same processes that happen when a rule is enacted. So when an Administrative Procedures Act rule goes into effect, there has to be a public notice, comments, and things like that. So I believe that's still going to happen. However, by a practical standpoint, it is not going to be enforced as such. So that certainly is a good thing. There's other things going on here, and I want to kind of just read a little bit to show you guys the evidence of what I'm talking about, that I'm not just making it up. So it goes into the zero tolerance policy like I talked about initially. However, the meat and potatoes, or the juice, if you will, of this press release, in my opinion, is actually not related to that. It is related to what they say in the following paragraph and then don't say as well. They're equally telling. So the following paragraph says the Department of Justice and ATF have plans to revisit the regulatory framework surrounding stabilizing braces and the definition of engaged in the business of firearms dealings. So Pam Bondi put out a statement here, which is very good, a great statement. Good job by the Attorney General. So the stabilizing braces, of course, that is for brace pistols. There are well over 10 million of them. It could be upwards of 20 million. And under this rule that was proposed under the Biden administration, it could have been a felony for possession of each that was punishable by up to 10 years in prison. And again, these are normal people who bought these guns in a gun shop, thought they were, following the law, and somehow they're facing 10 years in prison under this Biden administration rule. So that hasn't been revoked yet, but they're indicating they're going to do that, and then they engaged in a business. So essentially what they were doing there under the Biden administration, the Department of Justice was saying that if you sold a certain amount of guns, but they wouldn't tell you how many, they wouldn't define it, but if you sold a certain amount of guns in a certain time period, they deemed that you are a firearms dealer and that you need to have an FFL. So if you didn't have your FFL, but you were selling the amount of guns that they deemed bad, then you're subject to arrest. And of course, in the case of the gentleman working in Arkansas, they kicked his door in and shot him in the chest at 6 a.m. So that was the type of things that the previous Department of Justice was doing. And as of right now, it looks like they are going to pull those rules back. However, if anybody at the Department of Justice is watching this, and I know there are many of you, the next thing that needs to happen, in my opinion, is going to be the frames and receivers rule. Also needs to be revoked. Guys, 2 weeks ago now, the Supreme Court actually heard that and made a ruling on it. I think it needs to go away. It can also be pulled away by the same process that they're working on these rules with. And for those who haven't watched my videos on that, essentially, the Supreme Court ruled that a certain number of parts being sold together would be regulated as a firearm, meaning it has to have a serial number. You have to go through a background check to get it, all of those sorts of things. Again, that was an Administrative Procedures Act rule put in under the Biden administration that can just as easily be revoked regardless of the Supreme Court decision. So that needs to be on the list. And of course, there's other things as well that we will get to in a future video. I don't want to make this video too long, so we're going to end it there. But yeah, good news for once, and good job, Attorney General Bondi, and as well as ATF Interim Director Kash Patel. Obviously, we want more. Getting back to the status quo of where we were before Biden took office is the baseline, right? That's the baseline. We want more. We want more of our Second Amendment rights reinstated, but it's a step in the right direction. So I will take it, and yeah, we'll end it there. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, you can always post them down below. If you like this type of video, good news or bad news, subscribe both here on YouTube as well as on my Rumble channel. If you've done that, you're not seeing 2 to 4 videos a week, then you're being censored by an algorithm from my content. Easy way to get around that is to sign up for my email at the website here on your screen. This will get you put on 2 different lists. It'll get you put on a monthly email list that goes out just once a month, and it has all the videos since the previous month's email went out, so that way there's no big tech giant censoring your eyes from my content. It will also get you put on the daily deals email. It typically has about 8 of the best deals that we find around the internet on guns, ammo, optics, accessories, all of those sorts of things. If the item, whatever the item is in the email on a given day, then that is the cheapest that I know of anywhere on the internet, because I've already done the price comparisons for you. So that way it saves you guys some time and hopefully saves you some money as well. There's also a meme in there that a lot of people like. So if you want just funny memes, you can sign up for that as well. We also have an SMS list at the website here on your screen that you guys can sign up for. At most once a day, a text will go out with either the new latest video that just dropped, or a deal that is a screaming deal that I know is going to sell out one way or another. That will be sent from me into your text inbox, because again, it's just a way to get around the censorship. So that's what we're trying to do, and that's all I got for you guys. Good news for once. I will take it. Thank you all for watching. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.